Hello and welcome to my delayed review of the SimWorksStudios Pilatus PC12/47, powered by the turbine turboprop, actually 5-bladed, which I picked this variant because I figured, well, I have a little bit of experience with the Carinado PC12. It's got the 4-bladed prop, and I wanted to see the differences in the sounds the 5 makes over the 4. Thing is, though, this is an extremely high fidelity aircraft, and it deserves not a rapid review, but a full review. Because as you will see if you stick around, and if you have not seen this and you're new to the simulator in terms of reviews for this aircraft, you will see just what I'm talking about in a few moments here. I'd like to give a little bit of specs on this aircraft. It is the PT6A 67B, which is 1200 shift horsepower. What does that equate to performance-wise? Well, we're talking about a maximum of 402-gallon fuel capacity with a maximum takeoff weight of 10,428 pounds. So, there's an executive version, 4-blade and 5-blade. There's a cargo version, 4-blade and 5-blade. And if you use the cargo version, you have a 200-pound pilot, right? Plus or minus 2,000 pounds of payload with full fuel. So what we're talking about here is an aircraft that is capable of delivering an extreme amount of weight to its destinations with full payload. Now, obviously, all that depends on factors: wind, runway length, temperature, density, altitude, so on and so forth. However, this is also in executive format, a 6-passenger plane with a theoretical maximum of 400 pounds maximum baggage cargo, obviously dependent on those aforementioned conditions as well as passenger weight. So it has a lot of utility going for it. Thing is, at the end of the video, I want to demonstrate possibly the differences in sounds between the 4-blade and the 5-blade of this, aircraft, because they do have unique sounds, apparently. And I have to mention, this off sale from Sim Market was literally $31.54. Maybe that sounds expensive for an aircraft, but let me tell you some more stuff about this. You can have the GNS Asobo versions for navigation for your Avionics. You can have the PMS50 GTN 750, both the freeware and the payware version. You will see the payware version of the GTN 750 PMS 50 version here with the Bing Maps satellite API integration, but it also supports the TDS 750XI. So, same package, different features. Essentially, it is both a variation of the Garmin 750. So that's available to you. It has a flight level of 300, that's 30,000 feet, with a 1,742 nautical mile range and a 6-hour endurance, as well as a 176 knots true air speed. We are talking about quite a capable aircraft here. I want to mention before we head inside one more thing. As I said, there's an executive and there is a cargo variant. There is 8 executive liveries for the 5-blade. There's 3 liveries for the non-executive 5-blade, i.e. the cargo. And then swapping over to the 4-blade, we're talking about 2 liveries for the executive, as well as 3 liveries for the 4-blade non-executive cargo. And that's pretty much what you got here in a nutshell. As I said, this is always being upgraded and updated. This is the version 1.1.0, and although this is a delayed review, it will be a full, and this aircraft will benefit in this review, as I will, and our viewership out there will benefit the updates to the bugs. I've spent about half an hour flying this, as you may notice on my Hobbs meter as we glance over it visually, just testing it out. Because you can't hop into this aircraft and literally just 1, 2, 3, easy peasy. Doesn't work that way. It is a very complex aircraft. So to display that, let's start off here at Siletz Bay by hopping inside. Appreciate you sticking around for that extended introduction. However, this plane is 100% worth the effort and the view. So let's get on inside. All right. And welcome to pilot in command position here. What I would like to do, though, is definitely change the time of day, because I think that it would be essentially inappropriate to not do this in an evening sunset flight. The lighting in this cabin is absolutely incredible. So, we have to get it in an evening flight, for sure. I want you to see the interior illumination, right? I mean, just, gosh, all of the clickables in these cabin components here are absolutely stunning, for sure. So, let's get this thing started. I'm going to close that. That was just to demonstrate, basically, that you can press almost everything you see in here. We've got a light here that can be turned on with the power. We've got all kinds of manipulation devices here for visors. I mean, it's just an extraordinary piece of kit, this simulation, for sure. Control locks obviously must come off. And we have already thrown on the supplemental oxygen for the pilot, for sure. At this point, I'm not able to get rid of my combat pilot here in the passenger seat. So I'm hoping that'll come with the release of the tablet here. It's still not functional with at least version 1.1.0. Perhaps I'm doing something wrong, but I can't get it to turn on. That would be where you're throwing on your Skyforce Sim tablet app and everything. So, case in point, what I would like to do here is get this machine going for you. And to do that, what we need to do is hop on overhead and start turning it on. So battery 1, battery 2, and I'm going to try to breeze through this because you could spend hours just pressing buttons in this aircraft. That's how cool it is. So beacon, nav, recognition. Let's do Avionics 1, Avionics 2. Let's come down to the 2. Let's throw on pulse. In case anybody were still here, they would know that we are essentially getting ready to start this aircraft. There is nobody ahead of us in front of our view or to our side peripherals, so fantastic. That'll work. Not going to yell clear prop, as I would not want to embarrass the audience with that. So, first and foremost, we have to make sure that our ground idle fuel cutoff lever is actually in the cutoff feather position. There is no propeller control for this, which is nice. Makes it easy on us with the full authority digital engine control FADEC system. Let's hit the start button. Come down and do the usual. Let's check out our T's and P's, temperatures and pressures. We need to make sure we have engine oil rise for the pressure. And we need to monitor our interstage turbine temperature, ITT. Let's go ahead and swap over to nav mode on the GPS just as the source for now. We're waiting for max rotation, and we do have that, so let's go ahead and introduce fuel. Ground idle to start, back to the T's and P's. Now you can test these gauges, make sure that they are all illuminating and all functioning properly, so on and so forth. But to save, hours worth of video, I'm going to go ahead and just abbreviate this. Know that it is there, 100%, along with PDF, checklists, everything you could want for this aircraft is absolutely available. So we're going to go to altitude reporting for the thing. We are definitely good. The starter kicks off by itself. We had a very low ITT on our start. We are stabilized. We do have oil pressure in the green, but we are not making anything on our generators. That is because they are not on yet. So generator 1, generator 2, swap over inverter generator 1. Let's go back down. We will turn off the pulse, and I apologize for the speed, but I want you to see this in its entirety as quickly and as best as possible. Let's go ahead and fuel reset. Give it 5 seconds. There you go, quantity. So today, obviously, we are flying very light for an executive. I've given us 30% maximum fuel. So a little less than 60 gallons per tank. We're only 200 pounds, and we have no weight. So you will see this 1,200 horsepower perform like nothing else. So, that being said, B for barometer, magic wand. Let's go ahead and turn on the crew environmental system. Listen to this. Yep, that actually is the noise of bleed air ducts and other systems and air flowing through. Very cool to hear that. And you can hear the fans spin up for the environmental systems, recirculating, and all the rest of that. Now, one of the reasons I want to do this, as I said, is not only is the lighting in here and the flight deck neat, but check this out. So you're not seeing anything lit up here. Of course, we have no passengers. It's all good. But if we throw on the no smoking in the seatbelt sign, they come on, and at night, those absolutely do glare. And what I want to show you is, if you look right here, you can see there's actually a reflection in the shiny clear coat for those lights. The attention to detail here is stunning for just over $31, without a doubt. So, everything's good, everything's automatic. We'll throw on our taxi lights. We will come back down here, and the only warning we have right now is the pusher. So, let's verify we do not have our probe heats on, but we will turn those on just before we depart, because we do not want to overheat the probes. So, all of our trims are in the green for takeoff. Everything is good. We are in low idle. But to get rid of that pusher annunciator, let's go ahead and grab our pilot in command position C here, and let's run that test. So you have to be on the ground, 15 degrees flaps, which is fine because that's what we're going to use for our takeoff anyway. So we'll demonstrate that with the stick on. Here's what you do. You reach up, you press the pusher, it stays pressed, you advance the throttle just a little bit till you get the effect. Once that happens, you press the button here to stop it, pull back to reset, go back to idle on the throttle, press the pusher again, press the disconnect on the yoke. And we are clear of the pusher test. Everything's verified. But listen to this. That's not the end of the story. The sounds. Noises for full stop. Noises for full stop. An unimaginable level of detail here. The sounds are extraordinary, for sure. So, with that being said, everything looks like it's pretty much in the green here. What I would like to do is show you the ambient lighting of the panels. That's why we're taking the evening flight for this. I would not call it rapid review, as this aircraft requires more than that. But this is one of the primary reasons. I mean, look at that. If we were to make it darker, you could imagine. Crisp and clear, extremely high detail, unbelievable. Okay, so now that we are set up with that, what I would like to do is, well, let's just check outside. Right. Sun is indeed going down. Nobody is around us for taxiing. And we're going to say we have the all clear. I'd like to also taxi out to the active and then bring you back as we're strolling on down. I'll show you the GTN after we get to the wait line just before takeoff so that you can see. The Siletz Bay does not have any approach plates, but that is okay. I'll reference something else so that you can see that. Be right back. Okay, now that we are on the active taxiway, welcome back. So we've cleared up all annunciators, made sure everything was good, got the autopilot set for 10,000 feet with a 1,500 foot climb rate. Supposing we want to throw autopilot in, but we are not going to because this aircraft, in my short experience, flies incredible. How does it handle? I don't know how to explain it. If you've ever tried this on your own or played on the friends, or you have this yourself and you're just here for extra entertainment purposes perhaps, then you know what I mean when I say this aircraft handles like it actually has a very nice luxurious suspension travel to it, and it has some weight to it. It is an unbelievably weighted feel to it, and I like that, and I mean that in a really, really good way because it's very responsive, but it's not overly fake, if that makes any sense. It just feels right. So, before we head out to the active, let's go ahead and talk about what I was saying with the GTN here from PMS50. Now, this is a touchscreen. You can move it around and everything. Small disclaimer. You do get the free one, which is the 750. You know, you get the bezel and everything, just like the TDS. I'm sure has a price to it, but I am familiar with the PMS 50 version of this. So there are no charts here, but what I would like to show you is just a very few things. So let's just say you want to come to, say, a 2,000 foot final altitude, and you want to descend at a 2,500 rate per minute climb, right? 2,500 feet per minute. And you want to be at a specific waypoint. You essentially pick your waypoint, tell it you want a 0 nautical mile offset, press the display messages, and it will tell you the current vertical speed requirement to descend to your waypoint at this feet per minute at a descent rate with the target altitude of 2,000 feet, which is obviously what we selected, and it will tell you when, where, why, and how. That's one of the nice things I like with the Premium. It also has fuel planning, so you can check out all your fuel flows, how much fuel you have on board, what your ground speed is, where you want to go, how far it takes, what it's going to take to get there, so on and so forth. Love this feature, as well as other aircraft. There are checklists available, and you can write your own on the PMS site if you are so bold to try, but I have not attempted that yet. Wind data, sensor, there you go, pressure, altitude, ground speed, and relative wind direction and speeds as well. So that's very nice information to have at your fingertips. Premium example, fantastic. So why do I bring this up? Yes, the Premium is not free. There is a Navigraph monthly subscription I have to this, plus the SimBrief, which is the subsidiary of the Navigraph to program all your flight plans. However, when you are on an aircraft of this level, every little extension that adds to the effect of this aircraft is absolutely worth its weight in gold, in my opinion. Also, let's go to the nearest airports. It gives you all kinds of information that you could always be interested in. So let's go to Newport Municipal. Let's just say we want to know what the weather is. All you have to do is click on the weather data, scroll with your fingers. It will tell you everything about current conditions. It will tell you no fly zone issues, stay out of this area, don't do this, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. Frequencies, you got it, right here. Procedures, you got it, right here. Runways, it'll give you examples, and with the Bing Maps API, you can absolutely scroll in and look at it anywhere in the world. This is the Bing Maps, and it absolutely goes everywhere. So you can change the level of detail with that, anything you want to do. If you'd want to do, like I said, a procedure into, say, I don't know, ILS, you can do an ILS procedure. It'll give you all kinds of information. It'll give you the charts. It will give you literally everything. So let's just do an approach, and we'll say arrival, but we have to change, obviously, from Siletz Bay. So let's just say something like what we already had. Let's go back to nearest. Let's go back to the airport. We'll go back to Newport Municipal, and then we'll say procedures here for the ILS. Let's see if we can pull up the charts for that ILS. Okay, well, we'll have to change it. So that was essentially, let's see here. That was airport 5 Oscar Romeo 3 or Kilo Oscar November Papa, anything you want on here. When you have the Navigraph subscription, it works. So let's go back. We'll type in the charts here. Kilo Oscar November Papa, Newport Municipal, enter, and then we'll select approach, the ILS, and let's just see if we can pull up the approach place. So there you go. ILS chart, full screen, completely clickable, draggable, the Jeppesen, everything you want to know from their site. It'll tell you. Heights, when, where, why, how. Again, disclaimer that the free version does not have that, and you do need the Navigraph subscription. However, like I said, this aircraft is extremely beneficial to have something like that. A little bit of extra tidbit, but I figure it's worth the weight in gold. I'll stop my app and let's line up, and I'll let you just hear these engines. This engine, excuse me. Let's just hear this thing on takeoff approach. It is absolutely stunning. high idle. And here we go. And again, that's what it's all about. SimWorksStudios, Pilatus PC12/47. That was a fraction of full power. We only have just less than 100 gallons out of 402, so we are extremely light for takeoff. We are climbing out at approximately 1900 foot per minute, doing almost 150 knots indicated. And again, we've got the night light ambience of these instrument panel lights here. That's the whole purpose of this evening departure full review. And while we're at it, let's go ahead and level it on out. We will essentially head down the coast, and we'll get some external shots of this while we're at it. Okay, and just like that, hopefully you enjoyed those external textures during that sunset. Back into piloting command to finish this review on up. I'm going to go ahead, decrease our altitude, and we'll catch back up with you on final approach and experience landing together for the first time. Alright, and here we are on our extended final into essentially Siletz Bay again. So with that, we're in the white arch. Let's go ahead and add power a little bit. Let's throw down the landing gear. Look, 3 greens. Let's start adding our notches of flaps. Got everything trimmed out. Hey, look at the left wing landing light illuminating the propeller tip vortices. That's cool. The effect. I also like the side left window there. You can see the heat plume from the exhaust. That's cool. Did not comment on that earlier, but it definitely deserves commentary. Sun's just about to go down here. Hopefully you enjoyed this different evening setting for a review. Just had to, again, show off the lighting in this cabin. Quite awesome. Everything's looking A-okay here. Again, maintaining the proper trim so that we don't have to fight the aircraft on the way back down. Start getting a little bit of turbulence as we do here at Siletz Bay. These treetops. And a little bit high, that's okay. We want to clear that line. And we're also going to try the reverse propeller thrust as well. And let's bleed off a little bit of that speed. turn right a little bit, get on the center line. And there we go. Little bit of a crab, but always makes for an entertaining experience. So, that was more than manageable. Let's go down to the low idle, since we are on the ground. And we have achieved that. Once we are back, about to turn off the active taxiway here into our paddock where we began, we'll resume the video. Here we are for our right hand into where we began this journey. So my impressions are at this point, I'm sure, more than clear. This is quite the incredible aircraft. I mean, look at the way that the lights radiate out from the wingtips there. That red just dissolves into the atmosphere. The dispersion there is unbelievable. Everything about this aircraft is quite awesome. So I'm going to leave this running. We'll go ahead and shut this down. Stab trim. It even knows to let us know that we are not in trim for another takeoff. But we'll let it run, cool down the turbine blades there. As that's done, we'll shut off so you can hear the shutdown. Do something risky here, perhaps, like let's open this up so that we can hear the shutdown. Absolutely phenomenal. Now, I said that I would definitely do a 4-bladed and 5-bladed external power-up so that you can hear the difference, hopefully, between the blades as we've gone dark in the cabin now. So let's end that primary review. I'll get you those 2 quickies in there and then call it a day. Thank you for being here. If you stuck around the whole time, hopefully enjoyed the content. I know that this is essentially a DLC that was released not too long ago, several months, but this is the 1.1.0 updated version for $31 and 50 plus odd cents full price. Total bargain. 100%. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.